It's said that when an object is treated with care, a soul will come to inhabit it. The first scene we get is of this little girl staring at this doll. Her mom walks up on her saying that it's a shame it's ripped already, but trying to fix it is only going to make it worse. Their only option is to throw it out, as she promises her daughter that they'll get a new one. The daughter seems upset at first, but quickly comes to terms with it, and they go ahead and bag it up and throw it down the trash chute. Just getting a quick look at their environment, everything just screams clean. They're wearing all white and gold, the water's sparkling blue, trees are green as ever. This entire area, dirt free, speckle free, all tidied up and good to go. Humans think nothing of turning an object into trash. They dismiss it as filth, never to be valued ever again. They do this to humans too. We see the trash that the mother threw out being loaded into the semi and transported somewhere else. Inside of the facility where they keep all the trash, we see a guard patrolling around. These guards are called apostles. He hears something in one of the rooms, and looking through the window on the door, he spots somebody digging through the trash. He immediately realizes that this must be the infamous trash raider. He pulls out his gun, aiming directly at him, calling him a disgusting excuse for a human, quote unquote, threatening the beauty of our city by hoarding all of our trash. He instantly sounds the alarm and has backup immediately. But the raider hurls some trash in their direction and is able to escape through a nearby chute. He tries to escape it through the entrance where the semis come through, but the door is shut off right in front of him. The guards are sending all type of bullets his way, but he's smoothly dodging each and every one of them. They just can't manage to get a shot in. He's bolting around the room as they're just lighting it all up, just barely managing to scrape his arm with a shot, but ultimately the trash raider was able to escape. He lost all of the guards and escaped out through the sewers. As he makes it up, he's pissed. He's not upset that he got shot or that he got caught, but he's upset that they're even mad at what he's doing in the first place. They said he was a threat to the city and the city's safety, but he knows he's not threatening anything. In the daytime, we could see this man writing in a journal, but we focusing on some background talk about the trash raid last night. These two women can't believe that somebody would purposely go through trash, saying that it must be one of the tribes folk. But seeing the man who was writing in his journal, who happens to be one of these tribes folk, they quiet down immediately. He's not causing any problems though. He just begins to walk away as they start to talk even more trash about him behind his back. They're saying the tribesfolk are all filthy and overall, they just need to quote unquote stick to their side. The man walks up to this door, opening it up, and we get to see exactly what they're talking about. Divided by this enormous wall, we have two sides of the city. On the left, we got the city folk side, the regular side. The clean, all white, spacious, but on the right, we got the slums for the tribesfolk. It's dirty, cramped, ugly. It doesn't resemble the other side at all. Even the people on the dirty side of town are talking down on the trash raid, knowing that it was him. But they want her to stop, not because they think poorly of the digging through the trash, but because they don't want the apostles to punish everybody for his actions. Suddenly, we hear this girl call our main character's name, Regto. The girl, Chiwa, who's about his age, is worried about him doing these trash raids. She's also against it, but not because she thinks it's dirty and not because she's afraid of the apostles, but she just simply doesn't want him to get in trouble for it. She knows that the city folk are very uptight when it comes to their trash system, and as we saw earlier, they were ready to kill this man over digging through their trash. But she's saying that there's no reason for him to risk his life over it. Regto can't help but feel for the quote-unquote trash that all these wealthy people throw out. Everything that he retrieves from their dumps is completely fine. There's no reason for them to be throwing it out in the first place. He's trying to explain a little bit more about his philosophy, but out of nowhere, these three bullies pop up, instantly talking crazy about my mans. They're saying that, oh, he's the reason for the stench around the area. They thought they smelled something. They're telling Chiwa to steer clear of this dude, or else she's gonna end up just like him. Even making fun of what's underneath his gloves, saying that he's a freak. They say if she even got touched by him, she's sure to get a rash, all types of diseases. They're just talking crazy, bro. They kicked down this lamp that he had collected and put up for sale, reiterating all of this trash talk directly to his face. But Chiwa says Rudo's just like everybody else over here. There's no need to be talking crazy. There's no need to be dissing them like we're not all in the same boat. But dude starts going on about how Rudo is a bad person to hang around since he's the son of a quote-unquote homicidal maniac. And we can see that bringing up his family flipped a switch inside of Rudo's head. The bullies explaining that this side of the city was originally built for criminals to stay in. They're descendants of those criminals, so they try and repair their image as best they can by working hard and staying out of trouble. But he shoves all the blame on Rudo's father, saying that he screwed everything up for everybody by going on a killing spree. But before he's able to go on and continue talking, Rudo looks up at him, daring him to say another word. And of course, this bully who was acting all tough, talking all crazy, is scared as hell. He starts walking off with his little friends behind him, saying that Rudo's gonna end up just like his father. Rudo is tired of hearing all this. You could tell he's used to this from the jump. But turns out, Chiwa, even after hearing all that, stuck around. She's saying that she knows he never do something like that. She could tell that he's really a kind soul and wouldn't hurt a fly. Rudo gets a bit nervous being alone with Chiwa like this when she notices this little stuffed animal that he had put up with the rest of his things. He starts getting even more nervous, explaining that he didn't plan on selling this one. He actually got it but Chiwa's mom interrupts, calling her over, and she's got to dip out before Rudo had gotten the chance to say what he wanted to say. He just heads home, and as he goes in, we see posted up at the entrance, just waiting there. He starts to mock Rudo on him not being able to confess to Chiwa. He's like, this one's not for sale, Chiwa. I got it for you. I thought you would like it. Rudo can't believe that he was watching, but this is Regto. He's pretty much Rudo's aunt, but he quits playing instantly, saying that they gotta have a talk about his little trash raid last night. He begins to lecture Rudo a little bit about these trash raids, saying that there's no need. It's just putting himself at unnecessary risk. Unc says he can handle everything and pay all the bills, woo, until Rudo's old enough. Then he can help out, but these trash raids not it. Though Rudo isn't going for it. He says that he's never been caught before, so he's gonna be just fine. But Unc says he may have not gotten caught, but he was at least found. One wrong move and he might not even be here right now. Unc doesn't want Rudo to feel like he owes him anything because they're family. He shouldn't feel like he needs to pay part of the bills to provide any monetary income, since that's one of the reasons why Rudo's going on these trash raids in the first place. He collects stuff from the trash that these people throw out and he sells them in the slums. We get some backstory on how Unc and Rudo are really related. They're not technically related by blood, but they're essentially family, since Regto took Rudo in back when he was abandoned as a child. And Rudo feels like he's doing this and trying to help out financially out of respect, not out of feeling like he owes Regto anything, just purely out of respect. Unc then sees the wound on Rudo's arm and starts to get real stern, wondering if he got shot during the raid last night, but calms down a bit as he walks up to Rudo, recognizing and seeing that his safety and health is the #1 priority. So he's gonna patch Rudo up, and while he's at it, change the bandages on Rudo's hands. After patching up the gunshot wound, Unc tells Rudo to stay away from the dumps. These trash raids are not worth it, seriously. But Rudo still is being hard-headed, saying that it's really not that bad. He may have gotten this little gunshot wound, but the pain isn't anything in comparison to the wounds that his dad left him. We get a little bit of exposition, and we see that Rudo's hands have been like this for seemingly his entire life. Sometimes he feels this excruciating pain running through them. And on top of all that, he was heavily criticized and judged by everybody around him since a young child. So naturally, he had always felt some type of way because of it. But then, one day, Uncle Regto had given him these gloves. Even though they were kind of scuffed at that point, they helped with the pain. And for that, he feels like he owes Unk more than he could ever repay. The next day, he's chopping it up with Unk a little bit, and Rudo's trying to force himself to smile. He's got this naturally gloomy and gritty look about himself, and Unk was giving him some game. He's got to make sure that he fixes his smile up real nicely so that Chiwa rocks with him. The ladies love a good smile. He ends up going on this walk over to a view of the pit. Now in this world, the pit is where all the trash gets dumped. Both belongings from the city folk and their half of the city, but also the criminals that get executed in front of the masses. According to what Rudo's heard, his father was met with that same fate, and he just wonders what could possibly happen to everybody who falls down there. As he's looking on, contemplating, Chiwa pulls up on him. She's talking a bit more about the pit, saying that rumor has it they built it so that the slums could always see it from wherever you are, almost to instill into the tribe folks' minds that any mistake, no matter how big or small, means there's certain death. She's talking about how awful it is as she looks at Rudo dead in the eye, telling him that she doesn't want to see him go there, like the criminals who get punished. She knows that the trash he collects doesn't deserve to be thrown out like that, but his life is more valuable. Rudo tells Chiwa that Unk had told him the same thing yesterday, and she responds saying that Unk only worries about him so much because he loves him too. And Rudo's like, hold up, loves me too? She was automatically embarrassed, like, oh, I didn't mean it like that, I ain't. But Rudo's already going crazy. He had brought the stuffed animal for her, and finally getting himself together, realizing the opportunity, he tells Chiwa that he had gotten her this stuffed animal because he thought it'd be happier with her rather than just being thrown into the pit like the rest of the trash that they get rid of. He offers her the stuffed animal, and she accepts, saying that she's gonna love and cherish it forever. Rudo, at this point, is jolly as hell. He's running around, heading right back home, thinking that he's gotta tell Unk about this. He actually did it. Not only did he give her the gift like he said he would, but on top of that, Chiwa actually confessed her love for him straight to his face. He's running as fast as he can, but when he turns a corner, he gets pushed straight to the ground by these apostles, the guards that we saw at the beginning of the episode. It kind of kills his vibe a little bit, but off of what just happened, he's still hyped thinking about it and thinking about telling Unk what just happened. He finally makes it home and is just imagining what he's gonna say. He knows it's so crazy that Unk probably isn't even gonna believe him, but that's gonna make it even more sweet since he knows it really happened. He opens up the door, seeing Unk there, giving him a good welcome home, or at least that's what he wanted to see. Rudo sees this figure, this hooded man, sitting on top of Unk's body, sword sticking straight through his chest. He presses it through even more, and Rudo instantly rushes him to try and save Unk, but was no match for the hooded man. He picks this journal up off of the ground, which I can only assume is the journal that Unk was writing in at the beginning of the episode, and begins to walk off. Rudo doesn't have the strength at this point to chase after him, but hearing Unk call his name, he musters up enough to at least move by his side. Unk is telling Rudo to run. Run, run, run. Rudo wants to know what happened, why this happened, or why him of all people, but Unk is just telling him that he has to go. Go and make a change. Destroy this hell of a world that they're forced to live in. Suddenly, Rudo is shot from behind by the apostles, telling him not to resist. Rudo is under arrest for murder. He's trying his best to explain himself, but they're not even trying to hear it. They never believe a murderer who they just caught red-handed. Rudo's pleading over and over, but tired of hearing them talk, they just knock him out. Word starts to spread around the neighborhood that Rudo finally killed somebody just like everybody thought he would. And of all people, it was Unk, his adopted father. The apostles take Rudo straight to the pit, where he's to be publicly executed. Everybody's watching as the executioner says he's no longer worthy of stepping foot in these lands. For murder, the most heinous act of all, Rudo is sentenced to death. Everybody begins chanting in unison as Rudo contemplates how things possibly could have ended up like this. Less than an hour ago, it seemed like it was the best day of his life. But here he is on the brink of death after being framed for murdering the one person who he was closest to. Like zombies, everybody in attendance is brainlessly chanting, "Send the filth to the pit," as Rudo desperately looks for somebody, anybody to believe in him. When finally in the crowd, he sees Chiwa clinging onto the stuffed animal that he had just given her this morning. He shouts out to her that Regto's been killed. He's begging her to find the culprit to make sure he didn't die in vain, but she cuts him off. "I believed in you, but I guess you really are a murderer's son." Everybody continues to chant, "Send the filth to the pit," and Rudo realizes that everybody here is the real filth. No hearts, no brains, no compassion, no soul. No willingness to listen or believe against anything that these apostles are claiming. Everybody is just worthless lumps of flesh. Rudo says he'll send each and every one of them to hell. But then he sees the hooded man, the culprit, the one who had murdered Regto. But at this point, it's too late. Regaining consciousness, Rudo opens his eyes to a landfill of waste with this putrid scent in the air, realizing that he's in the pit. But before he gets too much time to analyze his surroundings, everything starts to rumble. He turns around to see this monster, this beast made up of all types of trash thrown from the people above, beginning to step up and move towards Rudo, as he recognizes that being in the pit, he's truly in hell.